Let's talk about Super Bowl 57.
Okay.
We'll be played in Glendale, Arizona, State Farm Stadium. That's a stadium you're very, very familiar with. You played in over 70 games there, right?
Yeah.
So you know that field up and down. What is the turf like? What is the field like? You know, are there any things both sides need to be mindful of in regards to teams playing on that surface?
The only thing to be mindful of is if they keep the field out overnight, because it's going to be cold. Mm-hmm. So when they move it back inside, all the humidity, it kind of keep the field moisture. Mm-hmm. So it can that can cause a slick surface. So with the NFL, I'm sure they're going to do a great job of making sure the guys come in there and blow dry the field, because that's typically, like I said, around this time of the year, they put the ryegrass in there, so the ryegrass is a little bit of a longer blade, so it lays down a little bit flatter, and it calls for the surface to be a little bit slicker. So if they want to prevent that, I'm sure they'll have the field in there a little bit longer, a little bit earlier, trying to dry it out, make it as dry as possible, and make it as a fast surface as they can.
And temperatures expect to be around 65 degrees with the roof likely open. So as you mentioned, the roof will be open. Now, in regards to this stadium, it's an indoor stadium, but they can open or close the roof. For you playing this stadium, you know sometimes as a secondary guy or cornerback, when you're playing a deep pass, and oftentimes when you try to locate the football, you know sometimes you look in the lights. Was that a reoccurring thing for you when you played in this stadium?
Nah, only when we played night games. That's when the lights became an issue. But for the most part, night games, if the roof was open, it was okay. But if the roof was open and the roof was closed in the night game, it was kind of hard to locate the ball. But if the roof was open in the night game, it was easier because the roof kind of broke the white surface of the ceiling. You know, so now it gives you something to identify the ball a little bit quicker. So I think that's the biggest difference. But for the most part, I think it's going to be. I think the guys they should have very good vision in there for the most part.
Yeah, and for our viewers and our listeners checking us out, the best way we can explain what we're talking about in regards to trying to locate the football in a stadium, just imagine looking up and you're looking directly in a light, but you're still trying to find a football. That's why sometimes you see guys when they're covering wide receivers, they look back and you're like, he misjudged the football. No, it's not necessarily the case. Sometimes they're looking in the light, they don't see the ball, but the wide receiver sees the ball, and oftentimes they catch the ball, and you know the rest is history. So that's what we're alluding to.
And what some receivers are taught is to catch the light.
Which is something that we're not taught to do.
Exactly. Well,
and what do you mean when you say catch the light?
Most DBs, I was taught that.
I'm sorry, everybody had your ball skills.
Yeah, I got 34 of them. Something like that.
Yeah. We know.
So.
But what do you mean by catching the light?
So if you locate the ball and the quarterback is throwing the ball, and once it gets into that light point, then that's when the ball skills come into play of understanding. All right, the ball got to this point. 9 times out of 10, it's gonna probably take about 2 seconds for that ball to come out of the sky. So therefore, it has to be an alarm that goes off in your head to where I know it's coming out of the light because it just went in the light. So therefore, let's catch the light.
And for you, that's a unique skill set because you can also do the same thing in regards to catching punts when you're catching punts. You know what I mean? So that's one luxury you had that a lot of cornerbacks, defensive backs don't have.